you have never seen it watching you. And that, more than anything, is the point. Somewhere between dusk and the hour before dawn, while you were asleep and your house was dark and every light was off, something was outside. It wasn't passing through. It wasn't searching at random. It was perched in the same tree it uses every night, in the position it has occupied hundreds of times before. And it was listening to your property with a level of precision that the most sophisticated surveillance equipment in the world cannot match. You've probably seen it once or twice, the silhouette on the fence post at dusk, the shape in the oak tree you noticed for a moment and then forgot. You assumed it was hunting. It was. But what it was also doing, quietly, systematically, without any need for you to know about it, was building a picture of your life. And that picture is more detailed than you ever imagined. Welcome back. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because what you're about to learn will change the way you look at every bird that appears near your home, especially the ones you almost never see. Today, we're going deep into the owl, the most precisely calibrated mind in the American backyard. There are 8 things I want you to know about what's actually happening when an owl returns to your property night after night. Stay until the end. The last one is the most important. Number 1. The owl has built a detailed internal map of your property. Weizmann Institute of Science, 2023. In January 2023, researchers at the Weizmann Institute of Science published a landmark study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Using wireless recording technology implanted in freely flying barn owls, they tracked the neural activity of the birds as they moved through space. What they found overturned assumptions about bird cognition that had stood for decades. Inside the owl's hippocampus, the same brain structure that handles navigation and memory in humans, they found place cells, neurons that fire specifically when the owl occupies a precise location in space. The same type of neural architecture that allows you to navigate your own home in complete darkness, to know without thinking exactly how many steps it takes to reach the kitchen. But here is what makes this finding extraordinary. The owl's place cells remained active and accurate, even in total darkness. Their internal map did not depend on what they could see. It was built, maintained, and accessed independently of light. The owl that appears near your home is not exploring. It is navigating. It carries a detailed, 3-dimensional internal map of every tree, every roof line, every fence post within its territory, built across hundreds of nights of careful, systematic flight. You are part of that map, a fixed, recognized, regularly visited coordinate in a landscape it has been refining for longer than you realize. Number 2. It doesn't need to see you. It knows exactly where you are. An owl's hearing is unlike anything else in the animal world. Research on barn owls has documented the ability to discriminate changes in sound location as small as 3 degrees, and to orient their heads to within 2 degrees of a sound source. The width of your thumb held at arm's length is roughly 2 degrees. The owl can pinpoint a sound with precision finer than that. This extraordinary accuracy is made possible by the owl's facial disc, the round, concave arrangement of feathers that gives many species their characteristic expression. It is not decorative. A 2006 study by Kampenhausen and Wagner demonstrated that the facial disc functions as a parabolic reflector, collecting and channeling sound toward the owl's asymmetrically positioned ears, set at different heights on the skull, specifically to enable both horizontal and vertical sound localization simultaneously. Now consider what your property sounds like to that creature. The particular rhythm of your footsteps on the back deck, 1 to 8 kilohertz, the exact frequency range of human speech. The specific sound your door makes when it opens, the time your lights go off, the time the dog comes inside, the sound of your car pulling into the driveway, and how it differs, subtly, specifically, from every other car on your street. The owl has heard all of it, many, many times. It knows your schedule better than most of your neighbors do. Number 3. The same owl has probably been there for years. U.S. Forest Service. The Auk, 2007. Owls are among the most sight-faithful creatures in the bird world. A research program tracking a breeding population of flammulated owls in Colorado across 22 consecutive years, from 1981 to 2003, documented that 92% of males return to the same territory every single year. Most males occupied a single territory for their entire reproductive lives. Not for a season, not for a few years, for the entirety of their lives. Great horned owls, the most common large owl in North America and the species most likely to be the owl in your neighborhood, defend territories that range from 1/3 to 2 square miles. They are not occasional visitors. They are long-term, year-round, deeply committed residents of the same patch of earth you call home. The owl you noticed 3 winters ago, perched for a moment on the fence post before disappearing into the dark, is in all likelihood still there. It has been there through every season of the years between. Through the winter storms and the summer evenings, and every quiet Tuesday night when nothing remarkable happened. You have a neighbor you have almost certainly never properly met, and it has been living beside you for years. Number 4. Its territory covers your entire neighborhood. GPS tracking studies of barn owls, in which tags recorded the bird's location every 10 seconds from dusk until dawn, documented the precision of these nightly circuits. Owls do not wander. They follow established routes. They return to the same perching sites, move through the same hunting corridors, cross the same clearings in patterns so stable that the researchers could predict with high accuracy where a tracked owl would be at any given moment of the night. This means the owl's knowledge of your property exists within a much wider context. It knows your yard in relation to your neighbor's yard, in relation to the park at the end of the road, in relation to the woodlot 2 streets over. You are not a yard to it. You are a coordinate in a landscape it has studied for years. Number 5. It has already formed an opinion about you. Tella et al. Scientific Reports, 2013. Research on burrowing owls published in Scientific Reports found something the researchers themselves described as striking. Individual owls maintained highly consistent behavioral responses to specific humans throughout the entire span of their adult lives. They did not habituate. Each owl maintained a stable, individual-specific profile of the humans in its environment. Some consistently wary around certain people, others consistently calm. Owls in stable territories observe what is calm and what is erratic, what is predictable and what is not. They notice, they classify. The owl outside your window tonight has an opinion about you. It formed that opinion through patient observation, in the dark, over a long period of time. And it almost certainly has not changed its mind. Number 6. It has been listening through your walls. Owl hearing is most sensitive in the frequency range from 1 to 8 kilohertz. That range corresponds almost precisely to the primary frequency range of human speech. The conversational voice of a person speaking indoors generates sound energy that does not simply stop at your walls. It attenuates, it weakens, but it does not disappear. An owl perched in a tree 20 feet from your bedroom window is not as separated from the sounds of your home as you might assume. On a still night in a quiet neighborhood, the sounds of a television, a conversation, music played softly, a voice praying or singing, travel outward through glass and drywall and into the dark. And in that dark is an auditory system 10 times more sensitive than yours. If you have ever spoken aloud when you believed you were completely alone, if you have ever cried or prayed or sang along with something on the radio, those sounds did not stay inside your home. Something was listening, something extraordinarily attentive in the dark, without judgment, but listening all the same. Number 7. Every culture that watched the night sky knew the owl watched back. The great horned owl appears across virtually every indigenous tradition in North America. Ancient enough, widespread enough, and present enough that it became part of how human beings understood the boundary between the visible and invisible world. Across European traditions, the owl perched on a rooftop was understood not as a visitor, but as a watcher. In the folklore of cultures separated by oceans and centuries, the owl occupied the same symbolic position. The creature that observes from the boundary, that knows what goes on in the dark, that carries information between one state of being and another. I am not going to tell you what to make of this. The science in this video is real and carefully sourced, and I will not step beyond what the evidence supports. But I will observe something. Every civilization that paid close attention to owls, and many did for a very long time, arrived at the same conclusion. It sees more than it should. What they may have been describing in the language they had available is exactly what the research now confirms. Something at the threshold of your world has been watching you. It has been there longer than you know, and it knows a great deal about you that you never intended anyone to see. Number 8. What you can do about it, and why it is worth doing. Here is what I want to leave you with. The owl near your property is not a random event. It is a resident, long-term, deeply attentive, extraordinarily precise, operating according to an internal map built across years of quiet observation in the dark while you slept. If you want to build something with the owl in your neighborhood, the path is simple. Move predictably. Avoid sudden noise or light directed at it. Give it time and space to update whatever it has decided about you. Allow it to move from wary to neutral to something closer to familiar, across the slow accumulation of many ordinary nights. And one evening, without knowing quite when it began, you may find that the dark outside your window feels different, less empty, less indifferent. Something out there knows when you come home, and has decided, after careful consideration, that you belong there. Have you noticed the same owl returning to your property more than once? Has there been a moment, late at night or at dusk, when you had the distinct sense of being watched by something you couldn't quite see? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone, and if this video told you something you needed to hear, share it with someone who pays attention to the night. I'll see you in the next one.